Hey guys, okay, I struggle with what to share today, because the reality is I don't never really know what I do that's different than what everyone else does. I learned this business by just following top coaches, watching their videos, so I feel like I'm just duplicating actually just following through, so I never know what I have to offer that's different or unique. But I did identify a couple things that I feel like I've gotten good at, and that's free groups and empowering leaders. This last one is team culture. So team culture, I think, is what really grew my business fast. This was something I was very intentional about. And maybe this is just because I had to, because there was no team for me to plug into, really. And perhaps it's because that's what got, community is why I felt like this was something I needed in my life. But I hear a lot from other coaches that, what we have in Team Phoenix is unusual. I'm sure that most of the top coaches, they've done this really well. They've been really intentional about creating team culture. Before I start here, let me just say this. There's so many trainings and stuff to listen to, but if you haven't been doing your vitals up until this point, I think you should just turn off this video. Honestly, I just think people spend too much time learning and not doing. So I would just say, I give you permission to, if you have not reached out to the people you need to reach out to. This week is Friday. You gave yourself a target. That's got to be a non-negotiable. You should not be listening to extra training if you're not actually doing what you know. That's the process, due process. That's how this all works. And so I'm gonna call you out right now if you haven't hit your targets of new connections, new contacts, connecting with people, invites. Just turn this off and come back to it. That's just that's my best advice right now. But also recognize this: you cannot be an all or nothing coach. You can't be an all or nothing person. You have got to and this was something that I had to get over. Just being a perfectionist and overachiever, and I would probably guess a lot of you guys are the same way. If you can't do it all, you just don't do any of it. You've got to accept that you're gonna be sloppy. You're gonna have to accept that your tracking system's gonna suck for a while. You gotta accept that you're gonna have weeks where you fall short on your numbers. But that's okay. You just have to keep moving forward. You've got to just release that perfectionistic mindset, or you're always gonna. Because you're never going to. You're just never going to hit all the targets. I don't know that I ever have. I just keep going. So anyway, okay. So I have a few tips and I'm outside today because it's really noisy in my house right now, and it's freaking awesome here in Florida right now. Weather, so I just had to enjoy the outdoors. So I have a few thoughts on creating team culture, and I think and I say team culture or bust because if this is not something you're intentional about, you're going to be just spinning your wheels with your team. And if you're relying on people to just depend on their own why and their own efforts, they're gonna tank sooner or later. So creating team culture, unless you just have those unicorns that just go after it on their own, and they're rare. They're very rare. So I think team culture was really intentional for me from the beginning. And it's hard to articulate really how exactly you do this, but I have a few ideas. I know something Patrick says is, he talks about how to do this business is you find your 2, 3, 4, I'm not sure how many says, you're 2 rock stars, you're 2 people who get this, and and you guys run and you run this, and you find those people and you're in good shape. But you gotta start somewhere, right? And so for me, I remember, and I've watched this happen, I've watched this duplicate with my, my star diamonds, my elite coaches, my premier coaches. When you can find that first 1 or 2 runners, when you have that first person who actually gets this, because you sign up people that you think are going to do it, they don't do it. You have those people who are discount coaches, or you never can get them to move forward. So maybe you found your first runners, maybe you haven't. So wherever you're at, you have those first couple people, first one who really is going after this. They're committed. lock arms with that person right away and build your team culture together. For me, I had my first girl, Andrea Stevens, that she was the first one who actually, like, you know, she didn't know we were going, but she was like, we're going together, you know? And that's the way we treated us. We didn't know where we were going together, and we locked arms, and I let her know how much I needed her. So let those people know, those few first people who really get this with you, how important they are to growing this thing. Get them really excited about where you're going. Even if you don't know where the hell you're going, you know you're going places and you're going with them. And when those people get excited, they help you create this momentum, this train that just, you know, could go off the rails. Like, they're just so excited. And so lock arms with that person and, like, empower them, make them feel super special, let them know they're your right-hand person. And that's how, you know, most of the teams, most of the large teams that are within my team and my, you know, obviously mine, really took off. You know, we were clueless. We were scared. We didn't know what the heck we were. It didn't matter though. Like, we just shared this vision together, and it just created this hype that people wanted to be a part of. And because, you know, this is really hard. This gets tough. You get down on yourself. You think you're not going to be able to do this. You start to doubt that this is for you. People tell you no. And the thing that keeps the people on our team going is that we have each other. The fact that, like, they don't want to leave, they don't want to stop because of the people that they have around them, that we've been so intentional about creating that. You know, we dream together, and that is what creates this hype, this swell, that keeps people pushing forward. So just be really intentional about creating something that people want to be a part of. And if you come into a team that's already like that, like, so you guys have come into the team, I don't know where you're at with the organization, if you guys do one big team page, I think maybe the teams are different, but, you know, if you have one big team page and that's got that has a great vibe, and you don't really have a big team yet, you don't have a team enough to create your own team culture, you need to front that team culture that's in your big team page. You need to represent that. You need to show up in your upline's team page. If that is the community that you're bringing people into, and you don't really have your own, you know, quite yet, well, even if you do, it's really important to show up in your uplines page at a level that makes your downline coaches know, dude, this is the place to be, this is where it's at, this is where, you know, this is the community we're a part of. You can't just plug them in and be like, oh, they'll get it. No, you got to show up at a level that they want to be a part of it. There's no reason that a coach that comes into your organization will understand, like, why they should be. You might think, well, you know, Amy's a rock star, so surely when I plug Amy into this, or when I plug my coach into Amy's team page, they're going to be like, oh yeah, but, like, they didn't know Amy. That doesn't matter to them. They know you, so that they see you showing up at a level as a leader in that group, they're going to get why this is important to be a part of it. So maybe you do have a team. Maybe you do have started to grow a team and you're trying to create your own team culture. But you still very much want to take advantage of the resources that are, you know, available from your upline. So this is something that I have witnessed on my team as we grew and as I start to, like, see these leaders, because I'm, you know, you guys know I mentioned yesterday, like, I'm really big into empowering leaders. Like, I want my leaders to create their own legacy. I want leaders to have their own empire. I want them to feel, but so I'm, like, trying to push them out of the nest as soon as, like, I think it's realistic for them. But also, I think it's also really important, you know, once you do kind of have your own team, you're creating culture within your own little swell, that you stay connected to that uplines, like, showing up as a leader in your uplines page. Because what happens, like, because we know we have a lot of coaches who join us who don't actually, like, do anything, and we get frustrated because they're not actually, like, following through with what they say they want to do. But you're not creating the example for them by showing up. Like, I have, you know, like, when I've heard this complaint from my own team. It's like, I don't understand. Like, I'm just posting on my team page and nobody's doing anything. Like, I just feel like I'm talking to a wall. I made a team call and no one's showing up on it. Like, I'm putting all this energy out there. I'm like, well, you know, what level are you showing up in our team page? Are you coming to our team calls? Are you showing up? Are you positioning yourself as a leader? Do they even know what that example looks like? And so I think there's something that happens for like, downline coaches when they see you being recognized as a leader in your uplines page. And so I have some coaches who are really great at this. They share so much value, even though it doesn't, like, directly benefit them. They'll share so much value back to Team Phoenix, and their downline sees them their downline sees them like, oh, look at, you know, Lauren Friedman, for example. She's really good at this. You know, one of my coaches, she's really good. A lot of my coaches are. I mean, like, like all of them, they're all really great at it. Their coaches see them in the big team page, and that gets them really proud to be a part of their team. So I want you to think about what happens when you kind of get up into your little silo after you feel like, okay, I've got this. So maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're a coach that, you know, you're an emerald, you don't really have that team yet. I want you to just be careful about trying to create your own empire, but detaching so much from your upline. Now, I get there are probably situations where you don't, maybe you in your upline, you don't have the same values, and that's a different story, but most of the time we've joined an organization that, you know, we want to be a part of, and it aligns with us, but things change, circumstances change, situations change, and I get that, and so you know, that might be a different story, but if you want your downline to see you as a leader, and to respect, you know, what you have to offer, when you show up at that level within the larger organization, just think about how proud you are when, like, you know, Raina's your superstar diamond upline, when she's on a team call. Aren't you like, wow, that's our leader, that's her up there? Think about that. When you show up like that within Raina's team page, your coaches are going to feel the same. Oh, look at our coach, you know, she's a leader in this page, she's sharing value back, she's giving back. That means she's, you know, got a lot to offer. I hope that makes sense. Is that making sense? It makes sense in my head. So I encourage my coaches, if you are so frustrated that your team isn't, like, you know, paying attention to you, and your team pages are not really, like, seeming to respond to what's going on, think about how you're showing up, and they're gonna see that, and they're going to you know, be proud of you, you know, be proud that you're their leader, and they're also going to have that example. This is what it looks like to be a team player. This is what it looks like to have community. This is what it looks like to be collaborative. And so that is something that I'm really intentional about, is being a very collaborative. So if I want my team to be collaborative, you know, collaborative with each other, then why wouldn't I share my resources with, say, you guys? Like, you know, I had so many, like, oh wow, you're sharing your systems, you're sharing your documents. Like, of course I am, because if I'm going to ask my team to be collaborative with my team page, with Team Phoenix, which may not directly benefit them because they're giving, like, their tips and stuff to someone else whose, you know, volume may not impact their success. You know, if I'm asking them to do that, why wouldn't I be sharing that same? Why wouldn't I be super collaborative? Why would I be, like, super sharing as much as I can with the network? Because I want to be a team player. I want everyone to be successful, and I'm setting that example for them. So does that make sense? Now, of course, I think it is important that you have super special resources that just your PS coaches get. You know, my team, I want my PS coaches to know that they're my number one, and, you know, they get the best of me. But there's no value in you keeping all your value to yourself. Your success is going to be really limited if that's the way you think. If you have this, like, you know, mindset of, hang on, let me turn off that notification. If you have that mindset, if you don't have that abundance mindset, then you're going to be really limited. So I hope that makes sense. Did I have anything to say? Okay. No, I think just think of ways to create intentional community, and you know, sometimes as the teams get large, you have to be really deliberate about that, like partnering up, you know, creating smaller environments where people get to feel a sense of community. This is the reason, and this is not something that everyone probably does, and we're all different types of leaders, but this is the reason why I invite most challengers to sign up as a discount coach. I would say, like, for me, 75% of the people that I invite to the network or invite to challenges, they get the discount invite, because I know that once people get a taste of what it's like to be in our community, and to see the value that's shared, and to see how collaborative this community, this environment that I've created very intentionally from the beginning. I've been extremely intentionally about saying, this is what we're about. Like, if you're in our team, like, you just give back. You're just a giver. You're just a lover. When they see that, because I invite them into my team page, I just say, you know, hey, I know that you're not, you know, in it for the business, but you know, I just want you to invite you to our community of like-minded people. This is a really positive environment. You'll see lots of you know, tips shared, and because it's not just about the business. We share, you know, people ask questions about the programs. So I just let them know this is just a, you know, a really collaborative and you know, warm environment, and it's positive. And so inevitably, discount coaches turn into working coaches once they see that how supportive your environment is. Once they see the kind of community they're a part of, that they're going to have a support network. They're going to have a net when things are challenging, because a lot of them just, they say no because it's terrifying to them. But once I get them like in that team page, most of my great coaches are like, you know, they started out as discount coaches, and it was because they got to be a part of this community where they knew they had support. And so that's why, like, I am really big on inviting all my challengers to, now they don't all take it, but especially those people that I just really like a lot. I'm like, oh, I want to, like, this is the kind of person who would really fit into our community. So I'm certainly going to try to get them onto that discount membership, knowing that when they're in our team page and this culture, that's how our team has like multiplied, is just because Team Phoenix is a place that people want to be. So that sunlight's going to be annoying, isn't it? So I just want to put that on your radar for those of you who maybe don't have that large, you don't have a large team yet, that you're really intentional from the beginning about creating an environment that people want to be a part of, and like just casting that vision early, even if you don't know like where you're going or if this is even possible for you. Act like it is, and they're gonna believe you. I didn't know. Andrea was like, Andrea didn't like. I don't know why she trusted me. I don't know why. God bless her. God bless the girl, because I was clueless, but I had so much passion and I had so much excitement for it that she just trusted me, and she jumped on board blindly. And she even says that I had no idea where you were going, but I just knew that it sounded exciting. So I hope that's what you're putting out to the people who are joining you. Because they're going to go far if you cast that vision and create an environment that people want to be a part of. Okay, I think that's all I got on my notes here while I'm here. Team Phoenix is an amazing community. Thanks, Lauren. Anybody have any questions while I'm here? Well, thank you. Thank you for having me this week. You guys, I'm sure, are in for a treat next week with Arena, but you guys have an awesome weekend, but not until you've covered all your vitals. All right, bye guys.